Hey everyone, at Dawn here again with another movie review. And keeping with my most recent theme of holiday and Christmas movie reviews, I thought I would combine it with my love of sci-fi and review the Star Wars Holiday Special. The movie, or show that being, which aired only once in 1978, just celebrated its 40th anniversary. And you see, back in those days, Star Wars was always aired around Thanksgiving and Christmas for some reason. So with Thanksgiving being upon us for my American friends in the YouTube community and viewers, I thought this one would fit perfectly into the season and give me an opportunity to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. To start, I wanted to give a brief synopsis of what the story is before I get into the review. So spoiler alert everyone, if you don't want to know what happens, turn the video off now, and if you don't mind, let's keep going. The show takes place between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, where Han and Chewie are making their way back to Kashyyyk to get Chewbacca home in time for Life Day. Now that's their version of the holiday season or Christmas. But they run into an Imperial blockade and need to find another way to get Chewie home. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Chewbacca's family is waiting to hear about his arrival and attempt to contact other familiar members of the Alliance, i.e. Luke and Leia, to get an update on where he might be, while also speaking with new characters this show introduces to do the same thing, to find out where Chewie is. With a little help and a lot of luck, Chewie and Han finally make it past the Empire and get to land on Kashyyyk, successfully getting Chewie reunited with his family in time for Life Day. Similar to my previous movie reviews, I will now move on to a breakdown of what I liked and didn't like about the show, and I'll follow that by how I think the show could have been improved or what I would have done to make it better or a bit more enjoyable, and then I will do a wrap up with my final thoughts. The animated cartoon is easily the most enjoyable part of the show. It's made in an awesome version of anime at the time. It not only introduces Boba Fett into canon, it features all the voice actors of the original characters and gives us a glimpse of other worlds not yet visited in the Star Wars universe. And not to mention, we get to see Luke flying a Y-Wing. I only wish the clip was longer, I'd say about the entire length of the special. Even though they're very clunky, similar to the animated short, they're also one of the only reasons to keep watching this special, that being waiting for the next one to come up. While Leia and 3PO's is pretty brief, the set for Luke's, where he's unsuccessfully attempting to repair his X-Wing with R2, is surprisingly charming, and the scenes of Han and Chewie interacting in the Millennium Falcon is definitely the highlight here, especially when Han wishes Chewie a happy Life Day. Now for those people watching that have seen the holiday special, you may be asking yourselves, why do you have this in your like section? But I actually think the Cantina set is pretty awesome, and it's definitely the most authentically Star Wars related part of the show that this special came up with creatively. And B. Arthur's music number surprisingly works well, since I can totally see a Cantina owner on a planet in the mid to outer rim having to deal with getting their bar regulars out by closing time. Carrie Fisher's singing may not have been her greatest strength, but the mere absurdity of the introduction of a Life Day song sung to the theme of Star Wars amounts to not only a jaw-dropping, mouth-open moment of the show, it's actually one of the highlights of the film, and acts as a huge payoff to anyone who is willing to sit through the entirety of the special without directly skipping to it. To the end, that is. So I'd say, check this out. Sit down, watch the special, and make it to this part. It is worth your while. While I do actually like the set they built for these scenes, it's very creative and also very reminiscent or believable of what life would be like living on Kashyyyk. I think there's just far too many of these scenes of Chewie's family talking to each other in Wookiee without subtitles. And how are we as viewers supposed to watch these scenes? And while they do give us hints and suggestions of what they're talking about through the actions they take, these parts are definitely among the hardest to watch. There are actually no words for this. Just look at this. It's a drawing, and the actors are superimposed on it, walking in front of it. Nothing else needs to be said about this. CBS clearly used the popularity coming off of Star Wars being released at the box office as an opportunity. An opportunity to cross-promote actors and musical numbers into a variety show, which were commonly found at that time. While it also resulted in a watering down of what that movie had established in the sci-fi fantasy genre, we're talking Disney-level damage control here, people. The effects in this special are very lacking, and I've already touched on some of these. While even the scenes we do get any actual special effects in are mostly stock footage from the original movie, edited with new reaction shots of Han and Chewie. And how is it possible to go from the groundbreaking special effects that Star Wars gave us and brought to movies in general, to this? The first thing I would change here would be to have more scenes involving the main cast members. So that means more Luke, more Han, more Leia, more Chewie, much more Vader, and an actual Boba Fett, a real life one, not just the animated version. So basically, more Rebel Alliance, more Empire, more Bounty Hunter scum, more of those scenes, and less cooking with Wookiee scenes. The next thing I would change is I would cut the animated short in half and spread it between 3 different parts of the show, rather than have it acting as a form of an intermission in the middle, since the second half of this is almost unwatchable until we get to that Life Day song part, so this would help keep the viewers more engaged in watching it. Like I touched on before, I would cut down on the musical numbers and cross-promotion of the people involved with the network. Also, as I mentioned, I'd leave the B. Arthur number in there, since that one seems to oddly work somehow, and I can totally see it happening in the Star Wars universe. But the Art Carney and Harvey Korman comedy routines, they need to go, especially that cooking show bit. Also, cut the psychedelic Diane Carroll and Jefferson Starship musical numbers, but still, find a way to work the keytar in somewhere, maybe in the cantina scene. To close, there are so many other things to touch on in this show. From the scene of Chewie's son Lumpy playing in his room watching shows on the holovid table, to his father Itchy watching some interesting entertainment videos in what appears to be an old school hairdryer from the time, to the Imperial officers and the stormtroopers looking completely out of place and miscast. The list, it just goes on, and if it wasn't for that animated short I keep talking about, this thing would be pretty much unwatchable. So unwatchably bad that it has definitely crossed over into it's so bad it's good territory, and then crossed back to being bad somehow. It makes my head spin just thinking about it, so I don't think I can honestly give it a rating, since I don't honestly know what it is or what it was trying to be, so instead I'll leave you with the words of George Lucas. If I had time and a hammer, I'd track down every bootleg copy and smash it. Now I think that sums it up perfectly, and with that, we've reached the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a comment down below, like, and subscribe. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.